Welcome to a new series for the channel, Tales from the Old World. In it, we are going to explore some of the stories that appear primarily throughout the army books from the Hero Hammer era, that halcyon age when reds were bright and bloody and greens were goblin. Thus, it is only fitting that we should start with a tale from the very first army book, that of the Empire, published in 1993. What follows is a story of their fearsome Hellblaster Volley Gun, as told from the perspective of Sir Roget, a Bretonnian knight who is in the decidedly unfortunate position of being on the receiving end of such a malevolent contraption. This series will be narrated by several guest narrators, friends of the channel handpicked by yours truly for their ability to spin a good yarn. So without further ado, I give to you the Hellblaster, as told by our fine bard and loyal kingsman, Ben Alton.
Suddenly, for one brief instant, all was silence. Not even the screams of the wounded and the moans of the dying broke the hush. The roar of cannon halted, no war cry rang out. The whole world held its breath and waited, sensing that the battle had reached a crucial juncture. It was one of those rare moments when the clamor of war receded, the smoke cleared, and a wise man could take stock of the situation quickly, accurately, and with some hope of certainty. The Chevalier Roget d'Armagnac twisted in the saddle to survey the battlefield. Before him lay a pile of dead Tylean crossbowmen, polluting the sacred soil of Bretonnia with their inferior foreign blood. Their brethren fled screaming from the battlefield. They were unworthy of pursuit. By all the gods he had showed those peasant scum. How dare they believe they could stand before the flower of Bretonnian chivalry? Well, he had taught them a swift, certain lesson, that no 10 hired lackeys of the Emperor Karl Franz were a match for a single noble son of Bretonnia. 10, 100, 1,000. Bring them on. He would kill them all, like the true knight he was. He took a second to raise the visor of his leonine helmet. Gods, how those clods had wailed when they had seen his proud lion-masked visage. There, that was better. Now he could see more clearly. Yes, it was true the Bretonnians were winning, he could tell. True, there were a few pockets of stubborn resistance, where the Reichsguard refused to fall back in the face of certain defeat, or where the thunder of Imperial arquebuses had shattered the Bretonnian infantry. Still, what could you expect? The infantry were peasants, coddled, soft and fat. You simply could not expect them to know how to fight properly. They did not understand the nature of honor, or how to win glory in battle. Roget's heart leapt. He could see the Imperial banner fluttering on the nearby hilltop. There was nothing to protect it save a company of disreputable rabble and a small, strange-looking 9-barreled cannon. Yes, this was his moment. Now he would bring renown to the house of d'Armagnac. Bards would sing of this moment for 1,000 years. Down the generations, the tale would be told of how bold Sir Roget had led the pride of Bretonnia to glorious victory. He spat contemptuously at the thought of the Imperial halberdiers. That little Imperial bang box held no terrors for him. Such things were typical of the Imperial troops. They did not rely on mighty sinews and glittering steel as a true warrior should. They were always looking for some cowardly advantage. Well, it would do them no good. He turned and waved to his fellows, then gestured toward the hill. His brother knights lined up beside him, ready for the charge. Their great plumed helmets nodded. Here were some of the most renowned chevaliers in all Bretonnia. He recognized the boar's head helm of Marcel d'Aum, and the carp helm of Lucien Dunois. The sight of them filled him with pride. It was almost unfair, he thought. 10 true Bretonnians versus a mere 30 peasants in their puny gunpowder weapon. "Are you sure this is wise, Sir Roget?" asked young Sir Edouard. "I have heard dire rumors of the Hellblaster Volley Gun." Roget cursed loudly. What could you expect from a pup with a mere 9 peacock feathers in his eagle helmet's crest? "Are you a man or mouse, boy? Where is your honor?" This was too much for young Edouard. He dug his spurs into his horse's flanks, and without waiting for the others, raced toward the hill. With a great cry, the knights followed him. Exhilaration filled Roget as he thundered forward. He dropped his lance into its rest. He had already picked his target. He didn't like the look of that rascal who was touching a taper to the base of his gun. He was grinning and smirking too much by far. It was almost as if the peasant couldn't believe his luck. The cheek of him. Not far now. Soon he would have the imperial standard in his hand. He could picture himself at the court of King Louis, accepting the thanks of his grateful monarch. Suddenly a great cloud of smoke billowed out from the gun. For a moment, it was like being in hell. There were several huge bangs. Bright muzzle flashes were visible even through the murk. The reports echoed deafeningly within his helmet. Clods of earth were thrown up all around him. Shrapnel pattered off his shield. The smell of gunpowder filled his nostrils. Something wet and red splashed his face. He licked his lips and tasted the salt tang of someone else's blood. He ducked as something heavy whizzed past his head. Behind him, he heard Sir Leon scream in pain. Roget's steed reared and whinnied in terror. How dare they scare the beast like that? He would make them pay. The cloud of smoke dissipated. Roget halted and waited for his fellow knights to form up again. "For Bretonnia and King Louis!" he cried, and waited for the response. He glanced swiftly around and was horror-struck. There were no other Bretonnians near. They had all gone. What vile magic was this? Surely that gun could not have wreaked this havoc. No, it was evil sorcery. Grinning triumphantly, the Imperial halberdiers advanced toward him.